are at a point, and I think you know certainly better than I do, that we're close to that tipping point, particularly in our women's population at Coffee Creek and the number of temporary beds that we are utilizing around the state to deal with the overcrowding at Coffee Creek, at a point where we are trading close to that place where we would have to make the commitment to build out a new prison for women. And clearly, anything we can do to manage the population to avoid that cost, both in terms of the capital expense as well as then the ongoing investment in operational expenses, will be a great savings, not in the immediate biennium, but in certainly biennia to come. And so we were cognizant of both of those, both in terms of cost savings that might be captured now, but more importantly, I think the cost avoidance in being able to manage our population and not having to build new prison capacity. In a nutshell, and I will try to be brief, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. We looked at several areas, and we kind of played with different scenarios. But what we came up with in terms of our recommendations are in the areas of expanding short-term transitional leave, modifying, not suspending, but modifying ballot measure 57, encouraging the expansion of what we call local Senate Bill 416 models in statewide to more counties that are not currently using 416 kind of model. I'd have to say Senate Bill 416 is probably the best bill that never became law in terms of the impact that it's had in creating the incentive, not an incentive, but in just creating the thinking and the opening up possibilities in counties to say we could do some of these things, even without direct statutory authorization. We were very impressed with the presentations we got on Senate Bill 416 kinds of models, and then expanding work release programs. I'll talk about those recommendations in just a second, but recognizing, and it's also in the report, that these recommendations do particularly and disproportionately address the women's prison population, because property crime proportionally affects more women than men in terms of offenders. And of those offenders, in many cases, the property crimes are tied to drug addiction, and mental health issues that really are amenable to intensive supervision that is available or can be available if we make it available. And at the same time, in the reforms that we are recommending, moving that population out of prison is what really addresses the Coffee Creek situation and the women's prison population. In terms of short